Hey my friends, welcome back to another video. If you're new to my channel, my name is Nick Levin and I help people self-actualize their journey through consciousness. So if you haven't already, feel free to subscribe and hit that bell notification. That way you always get updated whenever I post new content. In my last video, I talked about how unity is the only reality, and that through unity, through the first dimension, you are able to see everything in the universe. But the problem is that you cannot experience everything in the universe. And that's because unity is void. It is neutrality. As Matthias de Stefano explains, unity is like a librarian who has read every single book there is to possibly read ever, but has not actually experienced or done the things that they've read about. So duality was created when consciousness asked itself, what can I become? And that's when the projection of the self is created, and suddenly you can see yourself from many different perspectives. And this allows you to see different ways through which you can experience reality. So consciousness split itself into two parts, the positive and the negative, the purpose and the mission. And these two forces create waves, much like the waves that our thoughts create in the universe, just with different perspectives and different viewpoints, different realities. And they're always moving in different directions. And this is how consciousness was able to see every aspect of itself and feel every feeling in the universe. So every being in the universe since that moment was created by these positive and negative energies. The best way to understand these positive and negative energies is if you stand in the center of a dark room with one source of light coming from in front of you. As you move closer to the source of light, the shadow behind you becomes bigger. And if you move closer to the shadow behind you, it gets smaller, and more light fills up the room, fills up more of the room. And the only way that you can see the light and the dark as a creation is in the center. Both light and dark are just different perspectives, different projections. And as you move closer to one of those two perspectives, the positive or the negative, it will consume you, and the universe will come and take you by surprise to bring you back to your center. That's why when everything seems to be going wrong, it's just the universe telling you that that is not your path, that you are not in the right direction. And if you're going too far toward the positive, a crisis will happen in your life, which will bring you back to your center so that you can see different perspectives. Just remember that nothing is happening to you, that it is all happening for you. Good things are always coming your way. You are always in the right place at the right time. The only reality is unity, is now. That's why you cannot go too far toward one of those two perspectives, because they are not true. There is only unity. They're just another perspective of the self from another dimension. Duality is the force that allows you to create a lot of different realities so that the consciousness can see from many different perspectives, all happening in the now. So all reality that we live in is created by these positive and negative forces. And you should not go toward the positive or the negative, toward the light or the dark. It's not because one is good and one is bad. There's no such thing as good or bad, or right or wrong. There is only neutrality. And neutrality needs the positive and the negative to establish creation and to see and experience everything in reality. In duality, there is a law of evolution. Nothing stays the same. Everything is constantly evolving. Everything is constantly changing. So when we as humans think that in order to have a good life, we need to be stable. We need to have a stable career, a stable relationship, stable friendships, a stable hobby, then we get kind of stuck in life. And that's when the universe comes and kind of smacks you on the back and you have a crisis. These crises are there to help you evolve, to help you grow. Because if you're not growing, you're dying. So when you're going too far toward the positive, toward the purpose, the mission will come and pull you back into your center, or vice versa. And that's why people have certain crises in their life, to realign themselves so that they can observe and see themselves through a different perspective, through a different reality, and therefore evolve and create a better life, grow from certain pains and experiences, grow into who we really are, into the best versions of ourselves that we would never have become had we been stable, had we stayed stagnant in life. And unity is just in one spot. And in order to go forward in life, consciousness had to split itself between the positive and the negative, between the purpose and the mission, or the feminine and the masculine. The mission, or the negative forces, also known as the feminine, is what pushes you toward your purpose, or toward the masculine. The negative forces, or the shadow, is akin to the feminine because it is like a womb. It is where creation is created. And the only way that we can create new realities is to go within, to close your eyes and go within and imagine every possibility, every possible reality. And the masculine is the positive, or destruction, because once you have created every possibility, then you can choose which possibility, which reality you want to actually create, which desire you want to live in. This is projected through many different perspectives and many different timelines. And those different timelines condition unity to split itself and create space. And time and space are what the second dimension is made of. And after the time starts to project outside of unity, then space starts to project to every one of those different possibilities in time and divides itself into infinite parallel realities so that we can experience every time and every space right now. And instead of thinking that because we're moving from the third dimension into the fifth dimension, that means we already came from the first and the second dimensions, understand that the second dimension is not behind us. It is not a place that we came from or a place that you can go. The second dimension is all around us. It is what creates positive and negative in the universe. It's what creates time and space and all the different possibilities, all the different perspectives that we can see as unity. So in this third dimensional reality that we're living in right now, we believe that everything is happening to us, that all of our experiences in life are hurting us and taking us away from our comfortable place. But realize instead that because we are all unity and we're all just projections, projecting our own reality, that everything in our outer world is a reflection of our inner world. As above, so below. And understand also that there is no projection outside that we can integrate more than we can inside. There's only one place where you can go to hold neutrality between the positive and the negative, and that is within, in your heart, because it is your center. Creation is not just something that you project into your outer world. It is something that's all around us, all the time, in every time and every space. It is eternal. You are eternal. The only way that you can create and become aligned is if you realize that you are an eternal spiritual being with unconditional love. You cannot love someone unconditionally unless you realize that they are another aspect of you, that they are just another perspective of you. The only way to love others is if you love yourself in every possible reality, in every possible projection of yourself. So what you need to know about duality is that you live in every time and every space. So when you unconditionally love yourself, you unconditionally love yourself in every time and every space. Because of religions like Christianity, we've been taught that compassion is to help others or to have pity on other people. But compassion is not about that. Compassion is about being passionate about creation. Understand that everyone is you pushed out. So the best way to help other people is to help yourself, is to become your true, authentic self and just become in balance in your core. And just that act of being your true, authentic self, you are sharing that passion of creation with everyone else so that you can help them begin to wake up. We are heading toward the duality of creation, not separation. That is one of the most important things that you need to understand about duality. That duality is not bad. Duality is creation. It's the only way that we can see every different perspective and feel every different feeling so that we can continue to create more of what we want in our lives. In the universe, we cannot create new realities without duality. And we are all bound by time and space in the second dimension. But when you live in the third dimension, you have a third possibility. And for a lot of us, sometimes when you are too connected to one of those three possibilities, you forget about duality and you think that it's something bad, something that's holding you back. So that's when time in the second dimension creates time in the third dimension. And that's what we call the past, present, and future. When religions of the past started saying that if we do good in life, then we'll go to heaven. And if we do bad, we'll go to hell. That's when we had this idea that duality was bad, because hell was bad. And because biologically, we evolved thinking that light was good, because in the dark, we can't see, and we can get hurt, fall off a cliff, or get eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. And we assumed that light was good because we could defend ourselves. But when religions started coming around saying that heaven is good and hell was bad, we associated that with heaven being light and hell being full of darkness. But before that happened, we were all connected in duality as a creation, and we were split between the purpose and the mission, between the men who are trying to achieve knowledge in light and the women who were working in forests and caves at night doing ceremonies under the moon. And we were split between knowledge and wisdom to have different perspectives of the same reality. But then suddenly, when someone came around and said that light is good, and therefore men working in the day are good, and darkness is bad, therefore every woman who is working at night doing ceremonies is bad, which is why we had the Salem witch trials and the witch trials in England. But we started to split humanity between good and bad because we were disconnected from ourselves. We were disconnected from the truth and started connecting to the feeling of just surviving in what we thought was our only life. So when we start to understand duality, we realize that every person we meet in our lives is just a reflection of ourselves. The universe is just one big mirror that has and continues to split into billions of pieces. Every reflection that you see in your life is telling you something about yourself. So don't see other people with judgment. See the judgment within yourself, and you can start to learn new things about you. Whatever you don't like about another person is usually something that you subconsciously don't like about yourself, or even consciously don't like about yourself. When you judge other people, those are just judgments that you have of yourself, reflecting outward so that you can go within and begin to work on yourself, so that you can unconditionally love yourself and create heaven on earth. So, as before, feel free to listen to this and watch this as many times as you need to really understand duality in the second dimension. Before moving on to the next video, where I will talk about the creation of matter in the third dimension. And as always, if you have any comments or questions, go ahead and leave those in the comment section below. The hashtag AskNickLovin. And I wish you all a wonderful transcendence. I will see you on the